let's talk a little bit of Premier League football, and let's start with, of course, Saturday's fixtures. Rapid.
Yeah, we're doing that now? Shit.
What are you doing?
I'm kidding.
Being aggressive
I'm ready.
per usual.
I'm
I
ready.
thought you were doing your best Kepper impression.
yeah,
Let's start. Let's go down the list. Chronological order, of course. We're recording this Saturday night, so hopefully you guys are going to have a little bit more of an opportunity to get involved and engage with us and let us know what you think of these games. So we're going to start with Burnley at home to Everton, picking up a much-needed point. Everton's slide continues. I've mentioned a few times that this team will only seem to go as far as Calvert-Lewin will take them. And again, he bailed them out. Now, to be fair, I don't think he had a very productive game, but he was there when he was needed most, off of a very nice Richarlison cutback. And, of course, he got the equaliser. But for people who watch this game in full, like myself, will know Burnley had the lion's share of opportunities. They were a very, this was the best game I've seen Burnley play all season. So there is that. If you're an Everton fan, you're thinking, oh no, what was me? We're sliding down the table rapidly. To be fair to Burnley, they probably played the best game I've seen them play in a long time, and especially this season. Of course, led at the front line by Wood, who was just everywhere. He was such a manic pest for them. But my problem here, of course, is once again Everton bleeding points. It's a 1-1 draw against, it doesn't matter how well Burnley play. Burnley are a poor side. They haven't got a great deal of quality. It was lovely to see them show a bit of fight, show a bit of heart in this game. But ultimately, the issue once again lies with Everton. They had Richarlison on the field. They had Calvert-Lewin. They had James Rodriguez, and they couldn't get enough production to beat Burnley. That's a big problem. Carlo Ancelotti's got to sit down with these guys and say, right, what's going on, boys? Because ultimately, you've got far too much quality to be drawing with teams like Burnley. And let's be fair, right? Everton's only real high-profile win in the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's not even high-profile, is it? But they beat Fulham, okay? That's the only real win they've got in the league that is of any kind of meaning. And that's alarming, because obviously Fulham aren't great either. They only seem to be picking up points now against bad teams, and that would be of concern to me. And it came thundering out of the blocks, and they've just slowed down a little bit. They've dropped off quite a bit, actually, and I'm a little bit disappointed. And I think a lot of it comes down to depth. I really think that if you take away those high-quality players, the Calvert-Lewins, the Richarlisons, and the James Rodriguez's, who plays in their place? You know, you got Alex Iwobi, right? He was kind of like a discarded product from Arsenal. Now, he's very talented in his own right. He is a good player, but he's not an elite player. And he played in this game, didn't look very effective for me. I genuinely think Everton played quite poor football. And actually, if it wasn't for a couple of very smart saves from Jordan Pickford, this could have really gone south further for them. Wood was one-on-one with a keeper at one point. Jordan Pickford made a good save. That being said, Pope made a couple of excellent saves, particularly from a beautiful effort from James Rodriguez. But I'm really concerned. If I'm an Everton fan, I'm definitely concerned.
I watched this game. I actually sat down and watched this entire game. Go figure, right? I don't see the quality in that front three like I thought we were going to see. And I think it's because Richarlison, ever since he got that red card, has not been the same. He picked up a knock in practice and he's been out for a little bit, but he hasn't been the same fierce competitor that he was before. So then, Andre Gomes comes in, Gylfi Sigurdsson comes in, and Sigurdsson almost fucking blows it all up for Burnley.
I mean, yeah,
if it wasn't for Nick Pope.
Yeah, Sigurdsson did have a very good opportunity.
So if I'm Carlo Ancelotti, I'm going to Richarlison. I'm saying, look, man, you got to wake the fuck up, or I'm putting Gylfi in. And we're going to put Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin, and fucking James in and see what happens. And then you'll just be riding the pine until I need you. The defense looked poor. Very poor for Everton. Burnley's defense looked really well.
Yeah.
Minus that one beauty by Calvert-Lewin.
To be honest, that's all down to Richarlison's cross. He picks out an gorgeous ball. Calvert-Lewin, like the poacher that he should be, picks it up. I think we have to kind of accept at this point that Everton aren't quite. I did say we need to temper our expectations a little bit because they're not title contenders. They never were. They came thundering out. The same with Southampton. They both came thundering out of the blocks early, and everyone's like, "Ooh, fancy, shiny new things." But like all shiny things, they rust up eventually, and that's kind of what's happened here a little bit. That being said, there's no excuse for a lack of results against teams that are either on a par with you or have far less quality than you do. And you are right. The three players, this magical triangle that we were hoping was going to produce incredible results, as soon as they start misfiring, there's not much else in this team that they can go to. And like you say, the back line as well, they've never truly recovered from losing Jagielka. I know he started drifting away from things. Leighton Baines was another player as well. Seamus Coleman, has gone through a lot of injury woes as well, and it's been very hard for him to get back to the kind of level you'd expect from him. So actually, their defence is very middle of the road, very average. If you're an Arsenal fan, you'd still beg for half of that defence, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
I just think we need to temper our expectations. But at the same time, when I see them draw with Burnley, and I feel like Burnley, for my money, would slightly better in this game. I think there should be some worries, and I think Carlo Ancelotti needs to remedy that. And of course, with the transfer window coming in, it would be very important for them to take a look at maybe possibly reinforcing things, or at least, if nothing else, bringing in some high-quality defensive attributes, players that can kind of shore up the back line a little bit. Because if you're not going to score that many goals, you want to make sure you're at least not conceding that many.
But who do you? Okay, if you're Everton, you're Carlo Ancelotti, you're the inner workings of the football club. Who do you bring in? Who pops out to you and says?
Talk to your scout for starters. That's what he's there for. That's why he's paid a lot of money to go and find them. At the end of the day, you've got the Europa League and the Champions League going on, and you've got some smaller end European clubs. Now, we're going to talk about this actually. So, guys, if you have an opportunity, check out the video that's available on our YouTube channel right now about or hopefully will be available very soon after you watching this, about the differences now because of obviously Brexit over here and how that is going to affect and impact changes across the January transfer window. And I think a team like Everton's not going to have to worry too much. One thing they do have in the transfer window, which will help them, is of course having Ancelotti, because he is an elite high-end manager who's been around the block, who's managed some of the best teams in Europe. So of course Ancelotti can say, you know what, if you come to me, you're going to be, and also he's got a few parts. He can say, you can play with James Rodriguez, you can play with Calvert-Lewin. And also if you come and play, you get to play for me. And we have Champions League ambitions. The biggest problem, however, is that he's working with a team that aren't currently a Champions League outfit. So there's no guaranteed, there's no carrot that you can really dangle other than the fact of you get to play for me and you get to play in a very good footballing side that when it clicks, we can guarantee we'll play good football. But he's in a slightly different position. People are likening this role to when Brendan Rodgers was manager. But the thing is, Brendan Rodgers worked incredibly hard. David Moyes, David Moyes, don't know why I get those two mixed up, probably because one was at Liverpool and one was at Everton. But yeah, David Moyes, when he was in charge, he built this team from the ground up. Ancelotti has already inherited a fair few parts and has just kind of got the elite identity and sort of slapped that on top of it. He's got this like blueprint of what he thinks is elite and put that over the top, put some nice pieces in there. But he's already inherited quite a few of these players. You have England's number one, but
he's not playing like England's number one.
He's not, but then who else plays other than Pope? Do you give Ramsdale an opportunity? There isn't a plethora of elite goalkeepers that are of English nationality. You look at all the best goalkeepers in this league, how many of them are English?
That's true.
Probably Pickford and Pope. And Pope's playing for one of the lowly teams.
Maybe isn't Dean Henderson English?
Yeah, but is he elite? Is he Pickford's level?
In the game that he played today, he did pretty well. And
that's one game, isn't it? You've got to have a large sample size. Pickford has been consistently an excellent goalkeeper now for 5 or 6 seasons. it's weird with Everton. Everton are in a weird position because ultimately they're a top half of the table team, and that's what a lot of people expected from them. Not many people are expecting them to be even Champions League contenders, never mind title contenders. So for them, they're in a position now of how do we get to the next level? And they're finding out that to get to the next level, you need more quality. You've got to spend more money. You've got to bring in stronger players. There are players available in European teams that could probably be prized. But the problem with the January transfer window is in the middle of the season. And all these clubs that are willing to part with pieces, maybe, in the middle of a season. I mean, if you're willing to part with a player middle of the season, chances are you're not too bothered about where your team's going to end up, providing that they are safe. Because it's very difficult to try and convince a team in the middle of the season, hey, we want your best player. Well, we need that guy because we still have the second half of a season to go. So, if you're Everton, a lot of it lies on how good is Ancelotti in wooing people in. But 1-1 against Burnley is not a fantastic result. However, on the flip side of things, we haven't spoken about them enough. Burnley played some excellent football. And if they can continue to channel that kind of fight and create those kind of opportunities, I have no doubt they're going to score more goals. And they might find themselves in a much tougher dogfight and find themselves with a bit of grit and have the opportunity to get out of this, because that's a good result. And they have picked up a couple of half-decent results lately, so there is opportunities there. And other teams around them are so up and down. This was an important draw as well because obviously, results went their way with other teams around them.